Are you thinking about cruising on Oceania cruises? Or maybe you've done 1 or 2 cruises and you felt like you missed out on something. You're not alone. We just finished our cruise on the Oceania Regatta, and there are some things that weren't necessarily in any of the videos, or some of the information was very outdated. So let's fix that. Hi, I'm Leah, and this is your 2025 guide to cruising on Oceania, including some insider tips, tricks, and things that'll help you have a more frustration-free cruise. Okay, so let's talk about food and dining on Oceania. And the first myth that I'd kind of like to bust: specialty dining is always included in your fare. Well, that's true, but there are some gotchas here. First of all, the number of restaurants that you can dine in and how many times is based upon the room that you book and how long is your cruise. Not so bad there. You can also book some more on board, but this is in advance. But the second thing is, when you can book those dining reservations is dependent upon your room type. So if you book an entry-level room, at most you can book prior to the cruise is 45 days in advance. The challenge with this is all the other room types get to book before you, and so the prime specialty dining times, as well as the ability to book a table for 2, can become quite limited. And what we found is we had to click that we were willing to share a table in order to secure a reservation, and there were 6 people at the table. That might not be a problem, but I think it's really good information to know and something to consider if you prefer a special dining time and or specifically dining just the 2 of you. You might want to consider getting a room where you can get more advanced times. Now, with that said, once you get on board, if you want to book additional specialty dining, and if they have it available, they don't charge extra for it. It honestly depends on how full is your cruise as to whether those times are available. We saw people going down daily to double check if anything had opened up for them. So keep that in mind. Next up, do you really need the drink package? So this is something to think about, especially with the rates changing so much on drink packages. What we saw on Regatta was there were 2 happy hours offered every day. One was from 5 to 6 before dinner, and the other was somewhere after 10, usually 10:15 to 11:15, but it kind of depended on what time you left port. And those happy hours allow for a 2-for-1 price drink off the bar menu or the martinis bar. But the catch is you have to order the same 2 of the same drink. So as long as you and your partner are compatible, that may actually work out for you, or you both have 2 drinks before dinner and after dinner, and maybe that's how you do things, but take that into consideration. Also, there's events that happen throughout your cruise. The Captain's Welcome is one of them, where they had trays of cocktails, beer, wine, hors d'oeuvres. All of that was free and included in that evening. And we believe some of the bar hours, like some of that extended to the bar for a certain amount of time. Also, if you are in the Oceania loyalty program, even if you're a base member, there's still going to be a reception for you. The higher up you go, the more receptions they have. So those also included drinks for a certain amount of time. So before you go buy that big drink package, maybe, just maybe, that's enough for you. A couple of things, these are just foodie tips from us that we discovered. Number 1, Waves Grill. I'm going to call it the secret Waves Grill menu. There is a special every day, and we noticed the crew always hovering around about noon, 12:15, trying to see what that was going to be. But at the end of the Waves, right after the grill, is another little stand, and they had things like paella, or maybe it was spare ribs and corn on the cob, and there's creative things. So every day they have this special. It isn't posted anywhere. It's not on your TV. It's not in your current. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do so sometime after 12. On sea days, somebody whispered this to us, like, check out the Taste of the World menu in the main dining room. And that ended up being a great tip. Here's a picture of what our tasting looked like. But on sea days, in the main dining room, they offer this menu and it highlights some area of the world. It was very well done, the couple that we actually got to have. And we just want to make sure you know about it if you like Taste of the World. Theme nights. So look for signs either at the entrance to the MDR or the entrance to the Terrace Cafe when they are going to have a theme dinner. And it's usually reflective of where you are in the world. Ours was Polynesia. So we had, I saw those signs and they had it 2 nights in a row, but it was served in the Terrace Cafe. Even though they let you know at the MDR before you walk in there, you might want to go to the Terrace Cafe for that meal. So make sure you check that out. That one was in the current. You just need to watch for when they post that. Afternoon tea. This is unique for Oceania, we've seen. There is afternoon tea served every day from 4 to 5. That was whether we were in port or whether we were at sea. It was very well done. And someone asked me this question. Yes, they have gluten-free scones available along with savory and sweet other snacks. It was really well done. And then lastly, food menus. If you're kind of picky about what you eat, want to know, make your decisions early, the menus get posted to the TV. Usually mid-morning, 9:30, 10 o'clock, we would see the lunch and the dinner menus in the different restaurants posted. Or you can walk to the restaurant and you'll see the next meal. So you go down around 10, you'll see lunch is posted. Go on around 2, you'll see dinner is posted. So hopefully that's helpful as you prepare for kind of food and dining experience on Oceania. Okay, so let's talk Oceania entertainment. Low-key but charming is how I'll put that. First of all, the shows are late. They don't start till 9:30, but they did have a good variety of individual singers, musicians, the usual on board. There is an excellent live band. I know Oceania focuses on this, so they play during happy hour. There's dance music, a little more slower dance music, and then at night they liven it up. That's sometime after 10 p.m. So if you're into the dancing and you want to head out late at night, you've got a really nice live band to be able to listen to. In the Martinis bar, they have excellent pianists. On our Regatta ship, he did Phantom of the Opera. I mean, he did a lot of different stuff. He's very popular, and I'm sure it's the same on the rest of the ships. One of the big things about Oceania, and they'll mention it a little bit, but if you haven't cruised them a lot, you might go right over your head. It's called O points. When you attend trivia, play bags, any golf, there's a lot of different competitions involved in some of the activities that are on board. And if you win or place, somewhere, you're going to get what's called O points. You'll hear people talking about that. It's pretty competitive, let me just say that. But at the end of the cruise, you tally up all of your O points, and there's like a big merchandise fair where you can go in and buy what you want with the points that you have earned. And we were told that merchandise, that it's all Oceania branded stuff, but you can't really buy it in the store. So was it cutthroat? No, but it was a little intense. Last thing I want to highlight, we had an event called Country Fair. My understanding is they do this on the ships. It was on a sea day, and it was so much fun. It's literally 45 minutes, and it's as if you're at the county fair. So every department gets to host a booth. So engineering had like an operation kind of game where you had to, try to move over a pipe, and if you touched it, it buzzed. And the further you got, the more raffle tickets you got. Housekeeping had one where you had to compete against someone getting a pillowcase on a pillow, big pillows, I might say. Anyway, it was great fun. And after you collected as many raffle tickets as you possibly could, you moved into the theater and they had a huge drawing. And they gave away some really nice prizes. I ended up winning a sun shirt and a really cool blingy Oceania thermal cup. So it was a lot of fun. And in some cases, the bigger prizes was like a model of the ship. So if you see that one, don't miss it. Now, several people asked during the course of our cruise about the Blue Party. On our class ships, I specifically asked our cruise director this question. They are not offering it yet. This is August of 2025. However, he said that he and other cruise directors are requesting that they be able to have the same thing on the our class ship. So they're wanting to do it. Bring your blue just in case. Maybe you'll be the lucky ones. So let's talk laundry. I know a lot of people say I'm not doing laundry on vacation, but laundry matters, especially if you are on a longer trip. So just to highlight, and a couple of these things are easy to find. There are 4 washers, 4 dryers on our class ships. Detergent is free. 2 irons, 2 ironing boards, which those were hardly ever busy, so that was nice. If you are in a concierge room or above, they say laundry's included, and it says with restrictions. It's 20 pieces. You get 3 bags. We did throw in a few extra pairs of socks and nobody cared, so that's okay. And it is a 3-day turnaround. We had one time that ours came back in 2 days, but for the most part, it takes 3 days. We had a full ship too, though, to be fair. Um, they will also give you 4 pressing cards if you're in concierge or above, and those, again, 3-day turnaround, 4 pressed items. The specials that were offered, I think this is important if you don't have laundry included or you can't manage to handle laundry wars because it can get a little intense down there. The special was 24 pieces for $24.95, and they offered it 2 or 3 times. I might have missed it the first time because we had some laundry included. And they don't offer it the last 3 days of the cruise. They don't offer anything to be turned in when there's just 3 days left in the cruise because they can't get it back on time. So that is really good to know and helpful for you to plan in your packing. All right, so last section here. This is just some miscellaneous items that I think are good to know. First of all, the elevators are tiny. Here's a picture of them. There's 2 forward, 2 aft, and they're like European. They're just small. So plan accordingly. We ended up taking the stairs a lot, especially during the busy evening hours. Second, fitness center classes, they were excellent. If you want to do a morning stretch, Pilates, yoga, cycling classes, the gym, it was nice. Let me just say that. And we have a whole video separate on that if you want more detail. My point here is if you're interested in taking a class, go sign up when you board. There's literally only 8 to 10 spots for some of these classes. But with that said, be kind. If you're halfway through the cruise and you decide you don't want to take that class, go cross your name off because the wait list starts bumping up. By the end of the cruise, I would say there were maybe 3 or 4 people showing up from the entire list of 10 people that which is probably pretty normal. But anyway, card game sign up. This is a big thing, especially when you have a lot of sea days. I know there's a ton of mahjong players out there, bridge players. We had people write in euchre, which were from the Midwest. So yes, of course, we signed up for euchre. But those sign-up sheets were only there on day 1 and 2. So take the time, go up if you want to mix in and play with some friends. You get a really nice group going early in the cruise. It can be a really great time. One of the things that helped me as I kept the day 1 current that's left in your room when you board, I just kept that one handy. I just put it on the bookshelf. I cannot tell you how many times I referred back to that, whether it was confirming the times that we were in port, whether we're tendering, whether we're docking, hours of operation of certain areas of the ship. It was just super helpful. So just best practice. I know a lot of people tend to just throw them away. Keep that first one. That's really important. And then we also kept the details on shore excursions because the tickets that you get don't necessarily have all of the information on it. And if I didn't have it in a file somewhere, I'd be a little bit lost. Wait a second, am I supposed to bring an umbrella? What am I supposed to bring on this particular excursion? Those were super helpful, as well as if we wanted to change something, the deep detail around, is this moderate? Is this strenuous? Am I climbing a mountain or am I getting on a bus? Were super helpful. So keep those 2 things, a small word of advice. There is a daily show that they didn't talk much about, but it's on the TV. It's under programming and events. And then on ours, it was Regatta Today, I believe it was called. Just look for that on your TV. It was hugely helpful to watch that first thing in the morning, especially if you're like us and you don't get to the door in time when you hear the overhead going off, or you're busy taking a shower or something. It's good to be able to watch that to see what's happening. That was our heads up on Country Fair. Like he did the whole explanation of what it was on the show. So take a moment and watch that. And then last, and this is a big one, internet. So we thought we were totally covered on internet. We learned something this trip. We had the premium package. So we boarded, we assumed that we would be able to watch YouTube videos and do all the things that we do because we paid for premium. Well, there's another layer up called streaming. And so basically, It was $15 a day per device, which we did not do both devices. We just did Doug's in order to access those streaming services. What we discovered was that the speed, it's not about the speed, it is about the access. So when you pay for that streaming service, all that it does is open up the ports and allow you to be able to go to YouTube and actually have the video play. It isn't anything about increased speed. So probably our own misconception, but I thought I would share that. We were on a good day getting 3 meg up and down. So if you have to work or do a Zoom call or something like that, I know people will say you're on vacation. Yep, but sometimes you got to get to something, and it's helpful to understand that information. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you found anything new here, we would really appreciate a like, a subscribe to our other materials as they come out. And for those of you who are very, very seasoned Oceania cruisers, if we have missed anything that's an insider tip or trick, if you're willing to share it with us, please throw it in the comments below. We really appreciate it. Bon voyage, and we'll see you next time.